My name is Howard Roland, and I was a vice president of the Walt Disney Company, which was a different company, right? And my responsibilities basically were to oversee the project management of the building of Epcot.
My name is Duncan Dickson, and in 1982 I was the manager of college, international, and professional staffing. And I had responsibility for staffing the construction side as well as the operational side.
Hi, I'm Sully. I was the Vice President of Operations for Epcot Center. I provided 4 years of operational input into WDI prior to opening, and then I ran it for 2 years.
Well, first we want to say how much we enjoyed the panel.
Yeah, the panel was
so
fantastic.
much. We wish they had just gone on for hours because, you know, you guys really seemed to. I don't know if you all knew each other the whole time when you were you working together the whole time?
Yeah.
We've yelled at each other.
We kind of got that from the presentation.
It was not a love fest.
We can sort of tell.
We're much better friends now than we were then. Let's get it that way.
No pressure.
Well, you seem very
It was
familiar.
always that SOB, what does he want?
Ain't no friggin' way you can have that.
You want to win?
So can you tell us some of the challenges? We were so impressed with, I mean, I've been going, and Jeff has been to Epcot since 1982, but you don't think about all the challenges that you all faced just getting the park open, and while we were sitting there,
and sludge and exploding
I was like, how did they even
bathrooms.
open Epcot with everything that you had to go through?
I'll start from my involvement in the beginning,
you got the big early.
which I just explained over there. Basically, I got involved in about 73 or 4. And that was when the determination was made we were going to go ahead with the project. So the major problem back then, the first question that was asked was we were a unionized company. Disney World was built under a union project agreement. Here we come back into a right-to-work state again with union thinking. We're going to build this with union contractors. It was a massive project. So the first question, where you're going to find these union contractors, because Florida is a right-to-work state, and very rapid in its approach to a union concept. So here we were for the second time bringing unions back into Florida. So it was not appreciated.
And the reason was because the union companies had the wherewithal to do the project.
Right.
That's right. So the first job I had was to go sell the project to contractors in New York, Detroit, and a lot of them weren't interested in the beginning because, you know, they didn't want to build another Disneyland. It wasn't their thing. And they knew of the problems we had in building Disneyland, Disney World. So they weren't interested, but we had to talk them into it, which we did.
So did you have problems staffing? Because back then not very many people lived here, so you actually had to go farther to...
Well, yeah, staffing was, a difficult problem because the town was growing, we were growing, we were running out of people. So we had to cast our net farther and farther away to get the quality people that we needed to operate the place. And then we added pressure to the operators because we added in this component of internationals who didn't understand American working customs and how we work here, and so Sully's people had to take them in extra training and extra management skills, really to handle that group, because the work process is different in France or China than it is in the United States. So understanding all that created issues for us that we kind of knew about, but we weren't that ready for. We learned as we went.
We learned a lot in a hurry because we had to, because we had a deadline. And once this company sets the deadline, you can stick to it.
Well, it sounds like, to me, a party is the way to get things done.
Do what?
Having a party gets things done is what I take it from that presentation.
Attitude adjustment.
Or a birthday, perhaps.
Well, one of the early things that, I'm sorry, Harry, one of the early things I can remember is Dick having a party for the construction people. And all of us had to go out and work. I was tending bar in the German pavilion, or what was sort of the German pavilion, and all the construction workers were brought out to enjoy the day with their families.
I mean, we did this quite frequently, especially starting in the summer. We opened the park up maybe once a week, something.
Well, every weekend for about 5 or 6 weekends prior to opening.
At the same time, we had to build the damn place.
But it was interesting that the construction workers who we fought with every day and on the job to get it done would come out there. They'd have their Levi's, there were starched Levi's, they're pressed. They had the kids by the hand. I built that so much over there.
Yeah, I mean,
There's pride involved.
That's the quote.
Major help.
That was the subliminal message
In the beginning.
You know, I'm building this. I got to get this done.
But at the end, it became a problem because they wanted to stay here longer.
I never thought of that. I never thought.
Yeah. We had to push them out.
If you go into places like the Moroccan Pavilion or the Italian Pavilion, you'll see workmanship that you can't find. I mean, in the Italian Pavilion, for example, all of those the roof.
The Moroccan Pavilion.
Very intricate.
We brought over, I think it was 8 artisans that actually
They worked for the king.
Plaster work. And they did work for the king?
Yeah, they worked for the king.
No.
And it was interesting.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, the artisans that did the finish work on it. And it was interesting because we built a little compound for them out there. And it was interesting because Owen Pope called me and says, Sully, we're losing some of our goats out here.
I had to go to Morocco to negotiate with the government to bring these artisans over here and how to house them. And we housed them out where the old U.S. Steel building is, right across the way. So I brought in trailers and bought 50-pound bags of rice. No goats. We didn't
No goats were
that,
injured in the production.
They came
found the goat.
and that presented a major problem because, again, these people didn't know from unions. I mean, they were paid and chosen by the king. It's the same thing if you go into the Italian pavilion and look at the roof. You'll see a lot of it's all plaster. Plasterers that did that kind of work weren't here. They weren't here in Florida. So I sent the team up to Detroit, where I found out there are a lot of Italian plasterers.
The actual workmanship
and we brought them down.
Was phenomenal.
Yeah. Excuse me?
The Campanile. I was walking around the property one day, and there was an artist that was preparing the angel at the top of the Campanile.
Oh yeah.
And he was doing eyebrows on it. And I says, why are you going into so much detail? The only people that are going to see that are the pigeons up there. He says, I'll know that's up there.
You know, now I remember you mentioned that when the one of the meetings with Hinch I told you was the Leaning Tower of Pisa. Hinch decided not to do that because he didn't know which way to lean it. That's why we built the Campanile.
But it's reversed.
Yeah, it's reversed, right.
We've just uncovered
I just now remembered that.
That's
I
wonderful.
showed a picture of the Morocco Pavilion to a group of Moroccan students in Marrakesh, and they said, "Oh, that's Marrakesh." I said, "No, that's Epcot Center." And we argued for 10 minutes. They thought it looks so much like Marrakesh.
But
They
it was
thought it was their own.
because I mentioned it up when I was on stage. There was a group of kids that were being trained, and I walked in on them, and this one little kid says, I live right down that street.
Yeah.
That really happened. Yeah. The same thing happened when I had a guy out here. The chef from the park was French, and his cousin was over, and he asked me if I'd take him on a tour out here because anyway. So I said sure, 5 o'clock, and we came around past Canada and went over the bridge, and there's the Eiffel Tower there, and he says that's my home. So we did a good job.
Yeah.
Well, they're giving us the eye, so we should let you go. But thank you so much.
You guys.
Wonderful.